Hey guys, so I got enough questions when I announced that we had moved that I felt like I needed to make a video about it just to kind of put everything together. Also, I didn't want to be answering the same question like 1,000 times if I'm going to be real. So this is just going to be about our move. One of the biggest questions was, why did we move? We moved because Scott got a job here. So when he was applying all of last school year to jobs, because we knew he was graduating in May, we mainly focused our efforts in San Diego because we knew we wanted to move here. He applied all over the country, like literally all over the country, Alaska, Texas, like everywhere. But we knew that San Diego was really a place that we wanted to try living, so we focused a lot of our efforts here. So Scott applied to like all those places and it was like a sign. He only got interviews from San Diego. There were 3 places and all of them were in San Diego. So it just kind of worked out perfectly. We've known we wanted to move here or try to move here for a few years, and we knew we couldn't because like we were both back in school. Everything just seemed to work out really perfectly. We have friends out here who live here already and have lived here for a couple of years, and that's actually question number 2 that I got a lot of was, who are you living with? Because I talk about housemates. So we moved in with 3 other people. So we've got one of Scott's best friends from high school, his brother, and then his best friend's girlfriend. So there are 5 people, 5 adults in one house. And when we were moving, a lot of people were like, are you sure about that? But like, these guys are so chill. We are so open with each other. And like when we were making plans, we all knew that we wanted to be very open and honest with each other because really that's the only reason or the only way this is gonna work. So everything has worked out really well. The next question I got a lot of was, when did you move? Because when I announced it, I was like, well, it's finally time to announce it. And people were like, what? When did you move? So we moved around July 15th. What happened was Scott and one of the brothers moved out on the 15th, which was a Wednesday. July 15th was a Wednesday. And I stayed behind for 3 days. And yeah, that's when we moved out. I wanted to keep it really close to me just because like I really liked having this secret. It was really nice just not having to like tell everybody right away and just having this for us. But a month later I was like, yeah, I should probably tell people. This wasn't a question, but I wanted to add this in because it's just a really funny story. So when Scott left, I stayed behind because I still had summer school to teach and I couldn't be traveling cross country in a car because I needed internet to teach. So we decided I would stay with Frankie in our old apartment and then Frankie and I would fly out. We also figured flying would be the easiest for Frankie because like it's the least amount of time in a traumatic situation. I stayed with just the bare minimum of things that I needed, like blanket, pillows, soap, shampoo, some toilet paper, right? And I really only kept things that I either already knew I was gonna throw away or stuff that I was going to give a couple of my brothers. And I was basically just camping in our apartment. A lot of people, like 3, asked how Frankie was doing. Frankie is doing so well. He really likes having all of the space here. It's the biggest place that he's ever lived. And he has a lot of people to play with. Like there are 5 adults here. Like somebody's gonna play with them. He did really good on the move too, like just traveling. So I got some medicine from our vet to help him just get super drowsy. And within 5 minutes after taking it, he couldn't even stand on his own, poor thing. At the airport, they have to check the carrier like in security. So I had to take him out of the carrier and I was just lifting like just dead weight. And I was like, oh, my baby. He was he's kind of pathetic. It was so cute. But he didn't make a noise on the plane. He didn't like move around a ton. Like he would readjust and stuff every once in a while, but he wasn't like freaking out. I kept a blanket over his carrier so that he could see out the front, but like the sides were covered, so he felt like he was hiding and made him a little bit more comfortable. I also didn't want a lot of people to see him just because I didn't want kids coming up and like asking to pet him or bothering him or whatever. But yeah, everything went really well with the travels with him. He did so great, but I'm not looking to move or fly with him anytime soon. A bunch of people asked if I'm still teaching. So yes and no. If you watch my vlogs, I've been updating as this goes on. I cannot find a classroom for this school year, but I am substitute teaching, and I'm trying to work my way into a district that way right now. But I have made some really good connections with one school district, and that is the district I currently have a long-term sub position with. And I'm hoping, they just announced today that they're planning on going back to do blended learning. So I'm kind of hoping that once my long-term position is over in October, that I can pick up some more either long-term or just a bunch of like daily jobs. I do have my California license. I have my California license. I just have to work on getting my ESL certification, English as a second language certification, and working on what is essentially, I think, like Resi Year 4 for me. It's just taking like my teacher exam, I think is what it's like. I'm still working on that. And the last question I'm really gonna touch on is just one that I get almost every day, and it's, how are things going? Things are going really well. I'm so happy with this move. Like, I cannot tell you. It's really nice to have a change of pace, to get to learn another place to live. Like, I'm actually kind of surprised how different it is to live on the West Coast versus the East Coast. Not only are there a lot of natural disasters you have to learn to look out for, but there's just kind of like a little bit of a different way of living. The weather, I'm not mad about it, even on the super, super hot days. Like, I don't work outside, so it's kind of different for me. But the super, super hot days are still not even as bad as the super, super cold days in Ohio. So that's really nice. Living with our housemates is great. We all get along really well. Our space is big enough that we don't bump into each other all the time, and we can like get away if we need like our own time. Getting used to taking care of a house is very hard, but I think I've kind of finally adjusted to it. I'm used to just being able to like clean a whole apartment in one day or like a couple of hours, and it's not really possible to clean a whole house like this in one day. I think mostly because of the added challenge of having other people's things in the house. Like, I don't want to like touch their stuff. I don't want to move their stuff. So like that's a big thing to get used to. But like we've been handling all that very well. I'm not gonna lie to you, one of the most bizarre things was having an orange tree in our front yard and just being able to go out and pick an orange off a tree and just have a fresh orange. That's so weird. I also had like my first epiphany, I guess, moment of living in California. We have a rabbit problem, honestly, at this house. There are a ton of rabbits here, and we can't figure out where they're coming from, like where they're getting into the yard. And I was driving one day by myself and I was like, oh, well, it'll be nice because like winter's gonna be coming, and when the snow comes we can see their tracks and like where they're coming from. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. I think that covers all of the questions that I get a lot of. So if you have any more questions, like feel free to DM me on Instagram. But no, really, you can like, I'm pretty active on Instagram these days. I'm really trying to keep up with it and post semi-regularly. Oh my God, hang on. This reminds me of my time in Florida. This is our lizard guy. He's huge, and we see him almost every day. So there's our little lizard pet. Anyway, back to my shameless plug. Seriously though, feel free to like ask me questions on Instagram. I'm pretty active on there these days. And if it's been a while since I've updated my Instagram, remind me, because sometimes I forget because I spent so long being off of the internet. All right, well, I'm just gonna wrap this up really quick. That's all there is to it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I answered all of your questions, and I'll see you later.